on, guys, and welcome to another episode of What Do You Do for a Crust? With us today, we've got Jesse from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Armour Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, out in Smithfield. Beautiful place you got here. I tell you what, I was expecting it to be dirty, just being that it's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is it technically a dojo, or is it just a site?
I guess you call it that. We don't really call it a dojo, but yeah, just a gym.
It is spotless in here, man. Everything looks like brand new. I wish my shed looked like this.
Yeah. I really, like, obviously with a sport like ours, we can't afford the $200,000 leases, so like sheds are more affordable, but I hate the look of like you walk in and it just looks like a dingy shed. So I'm like, the cheapest way to make it look good is cover it in banners and wall mats and pad it up, and it looks really good.
It looks generally really, really good. It looks really professional. Not that I've been in too many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu avenues, but it does look very impressive, to say the least. A bit of a different episode for this one, obviously, because you have many, many different skills and avenues that you're covering as well, not just a single role. You run the gym. It looks like you're doing, you have your own grappling competition. You've got your own apparel brand, plus you're a teacher in schools, and then you're also, like, obviously a grappling teacher. You own the business. Like, there's a lot of shit there to list off. Yeah. Do you sleep, first of all?
Yeah, no, probably too much at the moment. But
too much?
I get a good amount of sleep. I love the sleep, but then once I'm awake, I don't stop. I'm like flat out.
Fair. There's nothing wrong with that, by any means. How did you get into this, man? Because this is obviously quite unique and something a bit different.
Yeah, when I started, it was just like in 2004. The sport was completely brand new in South Australia. Like, there was probably two gyms in South Australia, and the gyms had 5 people in each of them. The coaches were one belt through the system, and they were learning off of VHS tapes.
Shit. Okay.
I started like just after the UFC. So my dad got me into it. I think a guy at his work said, we've got some grappling going down at this boxing club. Do you want to come out? And for me, at that time, I got told I was going to do wrestling, and I like the WWE. So I was like expecting jumping off top ropes, choke slams.
Full moves.
Yeah, walked in, there was a boxing ring, so I thought, oh, here, we're on. But it was a little bit different, but once I started, absolutely loved it.
Very fair. I do apologise, because a lot of my questions are probably going to be very basic for yourself, you know, like obviously a lot of people out there don't know the specifics of jiu-jitsu, the competitions, even the equipment, the protective gear, all that kind of stuff. And obviously we want to get through that, but also I'd love to get your gauge on, you know, all that it takes to run a business, to run a gym. You know, like we talked before off air that every now and then you will get, you know, skin infections go through jiu-jitsu places because it's just a common thing. You're grappling, you know, skin, sweat. It is a gym, just naturally happens. Like, it just sounds like there's always the next thing. It sounds stressful.
Yeah, it can be sometimes. We manage. We're very clean here.
I mean, you really are.
I pretty much will not let a class end without mopping the floors with disinfectant. We have to wash the mop pads every single time. We clean the walls. We mist the room. We do a lot of stuff. But even with that, there's still, with skin-on-skin contact.
It's a contact sport.
Some people don't have a shower after work, and they'll come in slightly dirty or sweaty, and they're carrying that in, or they might have a cut on their arm or a mozzie bite that they think's a mozzie bite, and then you're skin to skin with them and it's not, and next minute you got like a ringworm or staph, or it's not anything that anyone should be scared about. Like, some people will go years and years and years without anything. Yeah, sure. And then sometimes you might get a year where you'll get ringworm twice.
It's just a busy...
This year I've trained jiu-jitsu for 22 years.
Wow, congrats.
And I've had staph once.
Okay, well,
so yeah,
that's pretty good, really. 22 years, that's a hell of a long time. Okay, what does a typical day look like for you? Because I'm curious to see how you prioritise your day and your week as well, given that you're literally leading a competition, you've got your own apparel gear, you're running classes, and you're a teacher as well. Like, what's a typical day or week look like?
I was working at the school like about 30 hours a week. I had like a 0.75 load for about 5 years, and I stepped away from that 2 years ago and stepped back to just relief teaching. So now that I relief teach, if I don't want to go to work, I just write back no.
You got good flexibility.
They just text me, do you want to work today? And I can say no or yes. So on average, I probably go to work now at the school probably once or twice a week because the gym is so busy. Yeah. It's growing. Like just in the last start of 2025, we had about 60 direct debits. Some of them are family, some of them are multiple people, so it's not people, but it's like direct debit accounts. And we're nearly at 110. So, like, we've nearly doubled in a year.
That's awesome. We love to hear that kind of growth because, it's nice. It's a family business. You run it yourself. It's not a major chain or conglomerate. You started everything yourself. We were chatting about this before offline, that you're taking the orders, you're running the finances, you're doing the emails, you're doing the website. Like, shit, man.
Yeah.
You just I'll just give it a crack and just go from there, because most people won't even try. Or go, I'll just pay someone or AI or whatnot.
And a lot of the time in our sport's not like karate where your 8-year-old has a black belt. Yeah. Our sport is like generally you're getting your black belt after 12 to 16 years on the mat, training consistently. And for most people, they start when they're 30. So then by the time they get a black belt, like most black belts in South Australia are like mid-40s.
Interesting that most people start in their 30s. I would have thought it would have been like a year ago.
Now it's starting a little bit earlier. Now the sport's bigger and it's more well-known. But I would say, nearly all of our black belts in South Australia are probably in their 40s.
Wow.
Which means they don't love technology. They'd rather pay an automated system to run it all, and they don't like social media and making reels on Instagram to engage people to come down. And so out of all the gyms, I would say me and maybe a couple others are the only ones full hitting it hard on social media and full hitting it hard on like having the latest.
It is a business, You've taken time out of your career to then make this work, and to all the effort that you're doing in the background as well.
Yeah.
We just talked about, the cleaning that you're doing of the room and, the finances and such, but, you've got to get here before the first class and open up and, all those kind of things. I'm assuming you're doing different programs. I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, but I'm assuming it's not the same class every single day.
I research all the time. And it's not just, it's a good thing about this gym is that I'm not a coach, it's like I'm the be-all of all knowledge and I'm the only one teaching. We'll often have some of our high-level guys that will contribute. So that I might show the first move and then they'll go, I know the next thing, or a counter or whatever, and they'll step in and help out. And we have a good crew of maybe 5 or 6 of us here that are like hyper nerds. We're like researching all the time, watching the latest fights and meta and bringing that to the table every time. So
that's good. Handy to have, good network around you and people that are happy to help. And
my journey through jiu-jitsu has actually always been a humongous risk. I started when I was 11, and by the time I was about 17, I started getting offered to take over the gym. We used to be a part of a boxing gym in Elizabeth, and I took over the gym and started running the classes a little bit. But it wasn't a very positive environment, pretty toxic place. So I ended up taking the biggest leap. I was 18 in uni, had no savings, and I was like, sent a big message out, I'm going to move the gym, and I found another place to lease out. I've never done a lease. I've never had a loan. I'd never had an ABN, nothing. And I had to do all of that and take the biggest risk. If I'd stuffed it up, 40 people just followed me.
Wow.
And I just ruined their journey. But it worked, thank goodness. And we went out to a place in Evanston with a Muay Thai gym for about 3 years. And that went good, and we grew heaps. We went from like 20 members to probably like 80. And then I was like, it's time to go full-time. Because when we were with the Muay Thai, we had to sublease. So we only got access to the gym 3 days a week. Which in jiu-jitsu, 3 days a week is not good enough. Like, this sport is like super complex. If you're not doing it multiple times a day, 7 days a week, you're not winning any titles. So we had to go find a place, and I ended up finding this commercial lease and full sending it. I spent every dollar I had, and got in here and got it started, and it's grown heaps. And even now, like at the end of this year, our lease is up, and I want to go way bigger. I want to go like right now. This is costing me like about $30,000 a year with outgoings, and the next step is probably like 80 to 100.
So it's a hell of a leap. Have you done any? Did you do any finance degrees or anything like that, or business degrees?
Nothing.
Because this is what I'm curious. Like, your determination is actually really inspiring and really impressive. You've done, ABN, insurance, leases, all that kind of stuff. With some people be like, I need to do a business degree to know that, or
the cheat code is my wife's an accountant.
I mean, that's a very handy, very very handy skill to, person to know. But I mean, it's still you spending all the dollars. It's it's still you spending the dollar that you didn't have or getting the loan or whatever it might be. Hell of a risk and a gamble. I'm very glad it paid off.
Yeah, and this place at the end of the year, like I want to jump from 30 grand to 100 grand, which to me is like, oh, geez, that's a humongous risk. Like, what if I lose 20 members next month and then I've signed up on this lease for 5 years? But also the fit out costs to be able to have mats that have logos on them, wall mats. I want to have weights areas, hopefully like ice bath, saunas, all this stuff. I'm going to need at least 100 grand for fit out, and that's about every single dollar I own. And lucky my missus is the most supportive person ever, and she goes, you can take our entire personal savings and the entire gym savings, join it together, send us back to $0, let's make it happen. I think because she just knows how driven I am on this, and it's like my everything.
You come across, I mean, I've known you in all of maybe 12 minutes, and you do come across as extremely driven. But I mean, it kind of, obviously you've got head on your shoulders, you've got multiple degrees, and you've got experience in teaching and obviously working with people and all those kind of things. But I mean, the fact that you're just willing to give it a crack is very impressive. Also with thanks. The new bubs as well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to flatter you or blow smoke up your ass, but like, holy shit. Yeah. Most people wouldn't even bother, I'll go, yeah, it's just a dream or a fantasy, I'm not even going to try.
But for me, it is like, I like being a teacher is a good job. And like out of every job, if I was just to work a 9 to 5, I really like it. Like I get to go home at 3. They pay me well.
Holidays,
don't work weekends, holidays. Yeah. Like it's a good job. But every day that I walk into the classroom now, I don't want to be there. Not because it's a bad place, but because my whole effort and like passion is in this. And I'm always thinking, I'm at school, front of the classroom, the kids are working away, and I'm thinking, what about I buy that and I put a TV on the wall there and I do this and I do this, and I'm just like not present enough. So that's why I stepped away as a teacher. I actually found myself like sometimes walking into lessons nowhere near as prepared as I should, or marking an assignment heaps quicker than I should because I'm doing membership forms on the right hand side and I'm marking an assignment on the left. And
who says men can't multitask? I find it really interesting, and again also very impressive, that you're already thinking of the next step as well. I've walked in here, and genuine listeners, I've been here for 5 minutes before we started recording. It is a very impressive place. You've got members just finished a class, you've got gear out there. It is a really lovely place, and you're already going, okay, what's next? What's bigger? What's better? What happens when you get the next place? Are you then going to go, what's bigger and better, or are you going to settle?
Nah, not with my personality, I doubt it. I think the next step, in all honesty, I'm going to go like way bigger lease and start to really go full-time multi-mats, probably maybe even multi-martial arts, start like getting some boxing bags, getting a coach in.
Okay.
But I think the end goal, 2 end goals for me would be to not be leasing but own the property, which is like trying to get a commercial loan that big is hard. They want massive deposits. The loans are paid off over way shorter periods. It's really hard to get into the game, but that would be the next thing. And then I think a final life goal for me would be to like, not that I'm trying to be Mr. like, great or anything, but I'd like to be able to employ my wife and have her be like the accountant for the business.
Fair.
And I'd also like to one day be able to employ my parents. Like my dad flogs it in a warehouse, welding trucks, and he's getting older. And, my mum's going to work and she needs like a knee replacement. And like, I'd like to be able to like give them the cruisy life because I sent it.
She could be, head of apparel, and your dad could be head of maintenance and servicing and stuff like that, and or sign-ups and all that kind of stuff.
My mum's a childcare worker, so she's like a fully qualified childcare worker. Used to be a director, and I wouldn't mind at the next gym having like a creche, and she'd come in and just make a little bit of cash in hand at night time and look after some kids for 2 hours.
You've thought it through, man. Doesn't sound like it's that far off. I mean, that barely scratches the surface of simple business ownership. You've also got your own grappling competition. Can you walk us through that?
I started it because there was like 1 or 2 competitions in South Australia that I just like, there were certain things about it, how you deal with like a division needs to be changed, or how you talk to the promoter, or just how it was run on the day. And everyone was like, dude, you're super organised. You should just run one. You will get back to parents. You'll run it well, you'll put effort into it. So I was like, everyone kept nagging me a little bit to do it, and I was like, nah, I'm going to do it. And again, that was a big risk. Like, I had to spend like 50 grand on mats, TVs, laptops, like get insurance, which is a lot.
It's hard to start something from nothing, you know.
Yeah, and my first one was February last year, and that was like overwhelming. Like I had to learn like a full new computer system called Smooth Comp, which is like very complex, and I had to do all the promotions myself and pump it up and get it to work. And I was like, that whole day it was do not speak to me. I can't even. I'm about to explode with like my brain. But once you do it once, you understand how to do everything. It's pretty straightforward. So now...
What's the name of the competition?
Australian Grappling League.
It's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, so my comp's next week on Saturday.
I mean, this is where... I messaged you out of the blue for reference to the listeners. I just messaged you on Facebook or Messenger, and you just got back to me, you know, within the day, which itself is pretty unbelievable. But you've got new Bob's at home. You run your own business. You do substitute teaching. You do teaching here. You run the classes. And you're getting, and you're running your own tournament, and you still fit me in. Very much appreciative. No,
I appreciate you doing this. For me, it's like exposure, and
yeah, fair.
And when it wasn't even when you messaged me, I'm more excited. I was like,
and I forgot apparel as well. I forgot you do your own apparel.
Yeah,
Jesus. And I got to admit, I think I could sit here with you for hours and just unpack how you've just gotten all the aspects. It's kind of like you've gone, okay, this is what I want to create, and this is what I need to do, and I need to do this, 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 and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Most people would tend to just want to outsource it and go, I'll just pay someone, or I'll just order the apparel from China, and like that's absolutely fine. But you're doing all of this, you're doing all the designing and all that kind of avenue. Are you a naturally creative person?
No. My missus will tell you, my parents, like in school, I was the kid that handed every assignment up late, the one that like didn't get good grades, really unorganised, and I don't know, there was just like a switch in me when I was in uni. I started getting like really paranoid that I was going to not hand my assignments up, and I was going to, because in uni, if you don't hand your assignment up, you get a 0, and then that means you got to repeat the course.
Yeah.
And then you end up going to uni for an extra year, and I started getting like really paranoid that I was going to like fail and have to go back, and I started getting like really organised. I was like, nah, if it's due in week 6, I'm handing it up week 4. And then ever since that, like obviously starting a gym, I started to get people like, hey man, can you cancel my direct debit? Like I can't make it anymore. And then I'd forget. And then next minute I've been charging them for 6 months, and then they want a $2,000 refund.
Oh, shit.
And you do that once or twice, and then you go, all right, I need to start a to-do list. So now I've got like to-do lists in my phone, I've got reminders, I've got checklists, I've got like all this type of stuff that keep me organised. Because I don't know, I've just got a lot on my plate at the moment with that. If I don't make a to-do list, there's no way my brain can remember to do it all.
Things get lost, and that's fair because you can only remember so much being a human being. So back to what your typical day looks like. What time do you normally get up? What's start time? When are you coming to the gym and unlocking everything?
I like my sleep. I'm a bit of a slacker. I'll be honest. I'm probably out of bed most days like 8:30.
Okay.
But then I'll get up, have a coffee, and then I'm on the computer glued to the screen from 9 o'clock until I come here. So like probably like 9 to 4. Making most of my time now is on social media. I've tried to like absolutely double down on like reels and posts, and I've like taught myself really.
It's a good way to get exposure.
Yeah, I've taught myself how to use Canva. Like I would say I'm getting pretty good at Canva, and I've like really invested time in that and making posters and stuff like that. So a lot of it's that, like the other admin, like direct debits and people signing up, is pretty automated. I don't have to put a lot of effort into that. It's more just like trying to get people through the doors. That is time consuming.
I would love to get your gauge on, because I find this, and you probably find this quite a lot, is that, I'm a podcast, it's not a business for me, it's an interest, but a lot of people will flake and they'll go, oh yeah, I'm interested. And then you go, oh yeah, you're still keen. And they go, oh sorry, no, I can't do it, or I've changed my mind, or no, I'm not available at that time that we agreed upon. And you've gone all that effort, and you're like, oh shit, okay. And then call them leads, which is, I don't really agree with the term, but do you get that often with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just being a kind of a martial art self-defense thing?
Oh, heaps. Like, our sport is a very in-your-face thing. Like, okay, sometimes we'll get people like, oh, I'm interested, I'm going to come down, and they don't, and it's probably because it's pretty intimidating. You're not walking in to do something that's like...
It's not crocheting.
Yeah, you're coming in to full grapple with someone, full contact. The turnover of people is pretty high. Like, not of existing members, but a lot of the time people will come in, do a trial class, and then you won't see them again. But I feel like over the last year or two, I've got far better at creating an environment or a culture where we're maintaining those people.
Yeah.
I started like a mentors program. So I got like 15 people from the gym. We got a photo on the front screen. When you walk in, go see one of these mentors and they'll help you out. But they know that they're mentors. So on beginner's class, a new person will walk through the door. And rather than the whole weight falling on me to go around and talk to everyone that's new, I'll see some of my mentor guys get up. Hey, mate, how are you? Is your first class? Yeah, come drill with me.
Nice.
And stuff like that. And then we have I have a system called Calendly where they can book in a free trial. But then it sends them text messages and email reminders. And when they leave, it sends them another email that goes, thank you for coming and now sign up. And there's just like a lot more follow-up than there used to be.
I mean, that's handy because life's busy, and I'm not trying to target those people, but you are a business, you're depending on membership, and like you're the owner, you're the boss, it all falls to you. If you get 10 people tomorrow morning going, I want to come to a class, you can only really support. I honestly don't know how many you could support without kind of spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, I think because I'm not being cocky, but I think because I have a background in teaching, I have good teaching methods to be able to deal with a busy room. Often even at school, sometimes they'll be like, there's 3 PE classes booked on the courts, and then 2 of the PE teachers are away on like a sporting carnival, so 2 relief teachers that have got no idea walk 2 classes out, and then essentially it's on me to run the PE lesson. But I've run PE lessons for 80 to 90 kids. Wow. By myself. For like all the time. It happened regularly. And so in here, I'll never turn anyone away. The more packed, the better. If I have to have like people sitting on the wall to have a round out to give up space or like...
There's a fair bit of room though around here. Is this a deep, like for context, I'm trying to give a gauge of how big this would be. I
think the mats are about 120 square metres of just the floor space. Yeah, wow. The actual building's 170. But this is probably... there's definitely gyms that are way smaller than this.
I was going to say, there's a lot of
but then there's a couple gyms that would be bigger.
I reckon I've been in a couple of, like, normal gyms, like not especially Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms, but gyms with, like, weights and, exercise machines and that are, like, half the size of this. Yeah. And you go, what the fuck? How the hell are they getting the room here? And obviously you need the space for grappling, but...
Yeah.
It comes in handy.
There's some gyms out there that are literally like proper Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms that are charging $200 a head, and they've got like 6 metres by 10 metres mat space.
Okay.
Which is fine if you got 4 people training. Like.
Yeah, but if you're trying, particularly if you're trying to grow and get that interest, fair enough. So if I'm a new individual, I'm coming off the street, I've seen one of your Facebook ads, I've seen a post, I've seen a reel, and I go, actually, I've always wanted to do it, I'm going to do it. It's actually not far away from me. What's the go? Like call, email, or just come in? What's the preference? What's easier? What's the best way?
Most of the time they'll see one of my Facebook ads which comes back with like an auto bot response, and the bot will give you like your basic information, and then it will send like a link to sign up to my Calendly, and they book their free trial. So it's like funneling them in. Oh. Or if they go to the website, every big button says book your free trial today, and it all funnels through Calendly. And the reason I like it through Calendly is that, like I said, it sends auto text messages and auto emails that make sure they get along and they had a good time, and make sure that they turn up with the waiver form filled out and with a drink bottle and everything like that. But yeah, most of the time it will be through an ad or through my website or through Facebook, and all of it funnels through Calendly. So I try to make it, that's the only thing they can get to, is they have to book a free trial.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which gets all the new people here on the beginners classes. So then it's their level. They got all those mentors walking around helping them. They're not just going to rock in and it's an advanced class or anything like that. I
have been told that particularly, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu feels like it has gotten extremely popular in the last 5-10 years. But I have been told that if you do start and you're a beginner, you are going to get your ass kicked for the first about 6 months until you actually, you can get the movements down. You get a bit of an instinct of how to move and act and all those kind of things. What's your opinion on how it kind of looks for the first 6 months? Yeah,
you're correct real quick. I think there was a stat that came out this year. It was by 30%. We had the biggest growing martial art. Yeah.
Apparently it's the highest grossing sport in the world.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years or something.
And that's thanks to, obviously, the UFC buying it. We got big tournaments that are starting to get some recognition. Joe Rogan talks about it on every single podcast. Like Jocko Wilk, like all these guys do us favours. But also, like, it's a relatively new sport. I think jiu-jitsu, it boomed essentially through the UFC, which I think was in 1999. And then it only has got big in South Australia since about 2008. 2007 or 8 was the first tournament we ever had in South Australia.
I think if you generally look at it, it makes sense to me that it's going to boom. You know, it's a martial art, but it's realistically a martial art when you're not getting punched in the face. You know, it's grappling. There's, I'm assuming, protective equipment. You know, you tap if something's gone too far. Like, it's a fairly, for a martial art, it's a fairly safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and to come back to your question, like, people say they're going to get smashed. It's not smashed as in hurt. It's smashed as in you'll lose the game of jiu-jitsu. But the good thing about jiu-jitsu is the safety net of tapping. If you're new and you're worried, like, you come in with like, oh, I want to start jiu-jitsu, but I've got a bad knee. As soon as someone grabs your leg, you can just tap out. And then, like, especially at beginners classes, we'll respect that and we'll go again. Or we get people that come in that, like, get a bit claustrophobic, or and someone being in their grill, they'll freak out and they'll tap out, and I don't even have a submission on them, but they'll tap out due to, like, just panicking, and everyone in the room has the respect to let go of that and go, let's start again. There's the safety net of that. And then what I think also attracts new people is that from day one, you'll walk in here and do the whole sport. Whereas we used to be at a boxing club, and your first day in a boxing club, you're walking in, you're going, usually every boxing club will make you run. Then they'll make you skip with a skipping rope, and they're going to get you good at skipping it. And then you might do some shadow boxing in the air or in a mirror, and then you might hit a bag. And maybe once you've done it for 6 months, someone might start holding the pads for you. And then maybe once you've trained 2 years and you're half decent, you'll get invited to sparring day, which is on a Friday, and it's selected people only. And so you don't get to do the full sport, full contact, until you're at least, like, a little bit versed. Whereas, like, when you do jiu-jitsu, you'll walk in and do the whole thing straight away. And
I love the avenue of, you know, say you're both trying a particular move, and say you lose at that particular move and you tap, you restart again, equal playing field, or, you know, I'm on top, you're on top, whatever position it is, and then you reverse it. Like, you're not coming in already undermined, I guess, or you know, yes, you're brand new, fair enough, and you know, with someone who's been doing it for much longer, and clearly it's child's play, but you tap, reset, go again. Tap, reset, go again.
I roll white belts all the time, and they'll finish when they finish the roll. They're not. When you say get smashed, they got smashed, but, like, they're not one bit hurt. They're like, I guess, a bit more, like, frustrated at themselves. They're like, geez, I just got absolutely outmaneuvered.
It's really humbling when you realise, you're like, shit, I am not good at this. Like, someone is so much better than I am.
Oh, you'll learn very quick.
It's something to aspire to, obviously. And then, you know, I'm assuming as well you're kind of teaching. It's great transferable skills being a teacher, but then you could go, hey, okay, maybe you need a position here, or try this, or hang on, you just need to, whatever it might be. You can guide that, which is really, like,
and the sport,
cool for a new person.
The sport is so developed now where if you walk in as a new person, it's so much better than when I walked in 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you'd walk in and there's no beginners classes. It was mixed level. You could have a high level, big tank guy, and you could be a 60 kilo scrawny new guy walked off the street, and you're with him. And, like, and as well, I remember when I started, this is how we learnt. I'd walk in and the coach would go, everyone make a circle, and he'd get in the middle and he'd just fight someone in the middle, and then he'd go, did everyone see what we just did? Go partner up. And be like, oh, I didn't even see what you did. And he goes, oh, didn't you see how I controlled his head? All right, go practice. Whereas now, when a new person walks in, I'll show you the 12 steps, where to put your hip, the 4 counters, the counter to the counter, the most common thing, what not to do, what to do. When you walk in now, you're getting the most polished version of jiu-jitsu. So people are going through the ranks faster than they used to. People are going, if you come regularly, if you come every day, some people are going from white. You could probably go from white to black now if you came regularly in, like, 6 to 8 years, whereas it used to take, like, it took me from white to black 16 and a half years.
What's I'm curious, because, again, obviously I'm very clearly a novice. What's the difference between gi and no gi? It sounds like some places do gi, some places don't.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
the sport is pretty much the same. The gi, obviously, you can use grips. You can use the material to your advantage. So I can choke you with the material.
Oh, okay.
So I can wrap it around your neck. I can wrap it under your leg. I can pin you with it. And then it's a lot tighter game because I can hold on to you a lot easier. Essentially, it's pretty similar. A lot of the techniques that we teach in the gi you can use in the no gi, and a lot of no gi you can use in the gi, except for sometimes gi has specific techniques that involve using the material.
Okay.
But in tournaments, the rules are slightly different. Only slightly. Like you can pretty much do everything that you can do in the no gi, except in the no gi you can attack the legs more. So in the no gi, leg locks are huge, like massive craze. Everyone wants to do leg locks. But in the gi, most of them are illegal. So if you do a leg lock, you get disqualified. So at the moment, leg locks are massive. And because it's illegal in the gi, heaps of people aren't competing in the gi anymore. So the gi is like absolutely dying out in Adelaide.
Not to circle back, sorry, and I know this conversation's absolutely all over the place. What goes into actually starting your own competition? Because like that's a pretty unique thing that a lot of the listeners would be like, how do you even start that? Do you?
I've been in competition since I was a kid, so I know roughly how they run, the expectations of what the day looks like, and whatever. I started by just delving into how do you use the system. So like there's the system called Smooth Comp. Smooth Comp will organise brackets, live streaming, it will organise payments, it will organise registration, clubs, everything. So it's a all-in-all app. It's amazing. So I just sat down one day and just went, how do you make an account as an organiser? And then it was like, once you have an account, you can create an event. And I just created like a fake event. Made a cover photo, started typing up some random rules and seeing if I can make some divisions. And then I started just like getting an Excel spreadsheet. All right, how much is it going to cost me? Mats are going to cost me 10 grand. I've got to buy 6 TVs or 7 TVs. That's going to be like this much. And then I need to buy, like medals, and the medals are expensive, and a podium, and I need to buy all this stuff. And then I've got to pay my refs and insurance, and how much is the venue hire? And I made an Excel spreadsheet, and then I was like, okay, then if that's how much it's going to cost, how much do I need to charge for people to compete? And compared that to the other tournaments, and I just kind of went from there. Like I did have to seek a lot of advice. I contacted some of the other comp owners and asked them, how do you do this, how do you do that? They sometimes help. They sometimes don't want to tell you anything.
It depends on the community, I find. Some are very open to growth of the sport, and then some are like, no, your competition's going to challenge my competition. But how do you find all this shit? You can't just be like, I'll walk down to the podium store and buy a podium.
Yeah, so it's all imported through Alibaba.
Wow.
You got to find you got to go through Alibaba. That's where I go through. Most people take import stuff through there, and then you got to filter through the 10,000 suppliers and manufacturers and get down to someone like your top 3 who have good prices, and they'll show you photos of product, and you just got to take a risk because they'll show you a photo that looks amazing, and then it can arrive and it'll be shocking, especially with clothing. Like when I do my clothing, sometimes they'll send you this mint gi, and then it comes and it's terrible.
It just doesn't look how it was meant to.
But yeah, medals, they have medal suppliers overseas. My mats with all my logos on them, you pretty much can't get that made in Australia. They have these wicked printers that can print all over the mats, and it's heaps cheaper.
Wow. If
you were to buy, so these mats in here cost me about, I think they were 12 grand. If you were to buy that in Australia, this would be 30 grand.
See, they wonder why we outsource everything, because that's a hell of a difference. If you're an independent business owner, you're going, okay, well, I need a good item, I need it to be affordable, more than half price.
But it'd be 30 grand, and they go, you can have one logo. Whereas my floors are covered in my logos.
Actually, and they do look really, really nice, to be fair. Really good colour scheme. They look in great nick, nice cushion. Yeah, very fair. Can I ask you, down the line, because I love how you are determined. You've got obviously real passion for this sport, and you've made it your life, which is obviously fantastic. Would you ever what's the ultimate goal? Would you ever franchise or anything like that, or have a multiple and then oversee them? Because that's where
I don't.
No one's going to have as much passion of your business as you do. So then you have to oversee others.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that I don't know if I'd get multiple gyms that are mine, because people are paying for me.
Yeah.
Not that my other trainers aren't good, but then like they're paying for my service. And then if I started a second gym, I'd have to be like, I'm here 3 times a week and 3 times there. Yeah. And then I've got trainers covering classes and people go, it's not the same. And not only is it not the same, like they might be able to teach the technique good, but they're not going out of their way to get up off the floor and greet a new person or to make sure they come back the next week and they sign up. And it's just...
Unless you maybe have a partner kind of thing and they're just as invested, no one's going to be as dedicated to your business as what you are.
Yeah. But what jiu-jitsu gyms do a lot is they start like what they call affiliations. So I won't run the gym. Someone else will have their own gym, but they want to fight and use our name. And they might pay you, I don't know, it ranges, but they might pay you anywhere from, say, maybe $1,000 to $5,000 a year. They'll use your name, and then I'll give a service back to that. So I'll be like, if you compete as us and come under us, I'll visit you once a month and do a seminar, and I'll make your clothes, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And then you have an agreement, and then they'll come up underneath you.
Okay, interesting. Obviously, we talked about the average age of someone who's in jiu-jitsu, and, we're talking sort of 30s to 40s once they, become, successful, and it takes a long time in that avenue. As a self-defense avenue, do you think there's an opportunity for, jiu-jitsu, the sport, to enter into schooling?
It's funny you ask that.
Because it's not intentionally... I view it as self-defense, and please correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm sure there's different avenues and how it can be taught and all those kind of things. But as a self-defense, I've heard it's a fantastic thing that it does flip the balance. If you've got a 100-kilo bloke compared to a 50-kilo woman, she can choke him out. It doesn't matter. We've all got the same size deck, or roughly. But you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Where do you see it on it sitting in schools?
So it's funny you ask that. I just signed my first contract with a private school from Craigmore.
Congratulations.
So it's in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they're coming here, and rather than me teaching PE at the school, they're bringing buses to here, and I'm going to teach PE in the curriculum for them.
That's awesome.
And they love it because usually if they outsource like a different sport, they'll go to like a rec centre and they might play squash, or go to a rec centre and or go out to a driving range and learn a bit of golf or whatever like that. They're paying like a private company that might not have like teaching clearances or anything like that. When they reached out to me, they were like, do you have your working with children check? I'm a teacher. So they're like, no way. So then they're bringing out, I've got year 7s, year 8s, year 9s coming for 2 weeks, I think in 2 weeks' time, and I'll run a grappling as part of their PE curriculum.
So you're literally just going to finish your own competition, and then you're going to start a whole new
the day after.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so.
Bloody hell, man.
But to me, that is like the biggest opportunity ever. I'm going to have 250 kids walk through the doors in 2 weeks.
I mean, I love the avenue of what doors that can also open for other schools. We're in an area where there are a lot of schools, but South Australia, we said the sport's growing, all those kind of things. You could be the guru teacher of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to younger individuals. Yeah,
and I've had a lot of schools reach out to me. So this is like, I've had it multiple times been reached out to, but this is the first one that's actually gone ahead, because often maybe a male teacher will message me, hey, we want to do this. We got some kids that are like mucking up in school and they're fighting, or and we reckon this would be a good outlet. And I'm like, yep, sure. Let's get them down. Let's do this. Let's do that. They'll take it to the board or the leadership, and there's a bunch of people that don't even know what martial arts is, and they go... And they just go, violence, we're not doing it. But so even with this school that I got across the line, when I first had it, they read it and they went, no, we're not doing it. And then I go, let me come down and talk to you face to face. So I sat in a boardroom with the principal, with all these people, and I pitched it, and they went, oh, that sounds awesome. And they're like, all right, done, we're paying. Right. So if people really knew what jiu-jitsu was and the perks and the safety net of tapping, it's actually a very safe sport. Like I said, I've trained 22 years. We've called, I reckon, 4 ambulances in 22 years.
I mean, it does seem to catch a really bad stereotype, similar to, anyone that drives a motorcycle is a bikie. Like, it's just a really shitty stereotype. I've played footy for a number of years, and I've seen blokes get punched, knocked out, head cracked open, broken nose, broken collarbone, arms, fingers popped in, all that kind of shit. And even that's not even playing the sport. That's just blokes fighting in footy. And you sit there and you go, we can't just tap and stop.
No. So I used to work out at rugby SA, because I did a uni degree of exercise science before I was a teacher. So I've got a degree in exercise science, and then I became a teacher after. But part of my placement, I had to work in like a state sporting organisation. So I worked at Rugby SA for a year. The amount of times I ran out on the field and someone was having a seizure because they'd knocked heads in the scrum, or they collided and they'd broken their arm, leg. We pulled people off on stretchers, and I go, man, I'm getting multiple injuries a game. I've called 4 ambulances in jiu-jitsu in 22 years, and every single time it's not a submission. Never ever called an ambo on a submission. It's always someone falls wrong. Like they'll be wrestling and they're like kind of defending the wrestling, and as they fall they put their arm out, and as their arm hits the ground they break their arm. But besides that, like, safe as sport.
Yeah, I think if it's phrased as as a martial arts sport compared to a self-defense sport as well. I mean, and obviously there's a martial arts sport, but there's a big difference, a very big difference. It's not MMA, it's not kickboxing. It's not. There's no weapons or anything like that. It's very simple grappling. Yeah,
I have a different angle on self-defense, and I get messages non-stop. I get called or messaged from like a 40-year-old mum with 3 kids. She'll call me and go, "Oh, so are you going to teach him self-defense?" And I go, "Oh, depends what you mean by that." And she's like, "Well, what if someone grabs my kid from behind, or what if someone has a knife?" And I go, "Okay, if someone's got a knife or a gun, any martial arts, this is my opinion, if any martial arts club is telling you to spin the gun around, do a backflip, return it, they should be like shut down. Like, in my opinion, if someone's got a weapon, run. Like,
I like that. Do a backflip.
But with jiu-jitsu, with martial arts, is how I say it. Heaps of people want. Oh, I seen on YouTube that someone was showing this girl when she gets grabbed from behind in the street, just spin around, kick him in the nuts, do this, do that, and then they're like, "Oh, my daughter needs to learn that," and that's self-defense. My answer is, all of that is fake, and do what the real fighters do. Do the martial arts that are used in the top organisations in the UFC. If you want to learn to strike and you want them to have good hands, they need to learn Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing. If you want them to learn how to grapple, they need to do wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or judo. Anything outside of that, in my opinion, this is going to be controversial. Taekwondo, biggest waste of time ever. They're punching the air, they're getting black belts at 8 years old, and they run out of shopping centres. Karate, just as bad. Most of the time it's no contact, so they're not even really learning proper altercations and proper stimuluses to a real fight, how to deal with pressure. Anything that's like these Japanese one, Wing Chun, Ninjutsu, all of them, throw them in the bin. Like the ones that are utilised by UFC fighters when they're fighting for their life for title world championships are the ones you should learn. And I always say to everyone, they say, what martial arts should you learn to be the best fighter or an MMA fighter? In my opinion, Muay Thai, because for striking, it uses all limbs. It uses legs, knees, elbows, punches. And if you want to learn to grapple, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because judo is just throws, but when it hits the ground, they don't know what to do. Wrestling is just takedowns, and when it hits the ground, it's only pinning, so they only pin them, but no submissions. Jiu-Jitsu is the one grappling art where it starts standing, there's takedowns. When you get on the ground, you know how to fight, and you also learn how to finish the fight.
But we haven't even broached the topic of the sort of the side effects as well of doing, a combat sport. Is, you're going to build confidence, you're going to build resilience, you're going to, it's physical exercise. Like I saw blokes walking out here. I didn't see any fat blokes. I saw everyone in good fit, shape, everyone's sweaty, good workout. It's exercise, it's mental stimulus. Maybe you get a bit of frustration out, or you're not. But even just the confidence that comes with it as well, to go, okay, I'm not freaking out by someone being right up in my grill and those kind of things.
And I think one of the biggest things is the ego check and the humbling of the sport. Like I said with boxing, when you're new, often you'll join a class and you'll go for a run, then you'll skip, and then you'll shadow box and you might hit a bag. You're never being humbled in any of them. Unless you get invited to sparring once you've trained for a year and you get hit a few times and you go, geez, I'm not as good as I thought, and I need to check myself. With jiu-jitsu, from day one, you'll have a roll. And when you have a roll, you will lose terribly, and you'll tap out, and you'll tap out again, you tap out again, you tap out again, and then you'll go home and you go, I'm not that big dog. I'm not that what are you looking at, I'll mess you up type dude that I thought I was.
The arrogance goes
and
away
you get
quickly.
checked real quick. And the beauty of that is that the people that have humongous egos and can't handle being checked never last, and they're not the people I want in the gym anyway.
Fair enough.
And the people that go, geez, that really made me realise where I stand and I need to learn this sport because I realise how good it is, they're the ones that stay. So when we used to be at a boxing gym, I remember walking in and multiple people would be like, looking me up and down, huffing and puffing, what are you looking at? No communication sometimes. Jiu-jitsu guys are like lawyers, cops, businessmen, and they're like, man, what's going on? You want to go for a beer later? You want to hang out on the weekend? They're just like, the room in general is full of absolute legends.
Still competitive nature, competitive sport, but it sounds like in a much better practice, to say the least.
Yeah, and that's what I think it would be good in schools, is that these kids are fighting on the school oval or bullying kids. Often it's due to an ego problem or a self-esteem problem or something they don't see in themselves. And often when they come here and they get forced to be humbled, very quickly they're like, oh, geez, I can't be the bully anymore at school because...
I mean, it's very true. There's a theory going around, there's a couple of theories around like human psychology that everyone should work hospo or retail, to learn how to treat people with respect and lose that self-entitlement. And there's another very similar theory around everyone should get their ass kicked once or twice because then you appreciate that, no, there are people better than me at many different things, but also I could get my ass kicked by anyone you don't know, like the unknown, so you stop becoming a dickhead without me being so frank. We are getting close to time. I want to ask you, if there's someone listening who's going, okay, I want to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I haven't, just haven't got the confidence, so I tried it once, and it wasn't for me, maybe it wasn't the right gym, or just wasn't the right time, all that kind of stuff. Or even if they're thinking of starting their own business, do you have any advice for either of those two individuals who are thinking of joining Jiu-Jitsu or thinking of starting their own business?
The people that are starting jiu-jitsu, yes, it is one of those things in life that it will be a little bit intimidating to come in. You're not coming in to, do something that's not hard. But when you walk in, the thing you got to remember is we all started day one. I was that idiot. I was that person that fell over and looked stupid and didn't understand it and lost every match and tap, 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 tap. If you come in with your ego checked and your expectations low, you'll watch how good of a person it makes you, both in your personality but also physically. We get people we've had multiple people here lose 50 kilos. We've had so many people go from being tough, bikie affiliated, gang affiliated, crime to sorting their life out. We got people here with serious mental health problems that go, if it wasn't for this gym, I don't even know if I'd still be around.
There is I won't lie, I was doing a bit of research before this interview, and there's a quite an interesting journal article about how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu saves lives, or it saves the monotonous day that people lose. So if you've got someone that's high functioning and the day-to-day grind or 9 to 5 is boring the shit out of them, you're starting your day or you're ending your day with something extremely difficult. Everything else in life is just easy. Because, I literally was wrestling with a 90-kilo bloke who was trying to choke me out, and I had to tap, and then we started again, and then I tapped him, and, you get that massive reward after 6 months of training, all that kind of stuff. But they talk about how, you've done something incredibly difficult that not everyone would do. Everything else is easy now.
Yeah.
You've got a hard project at work, you've had a long day, you've got the finances are shit, you've got tricky kids, or whatever it might be, you've got own mental health challenges. Everything can be cured to a certain point with a little bit of exercise and that physical, I guess, rough and tumble.
Yeah, what I'll say about that, I've actually got sorry, I know we're close on time, but I've got a bit of a thing that I say to people is that when I did exercise science at uni, they actually talk about what happens to blood flow during exercise. And I don't know the stats completely off the top of my head, but I think when you're at rest, I think it's 80% of oxygenated blood goes to your brain, because your muscles don't require it. You're just sitting there, your heart rate's low. When you start to exercise, your body distributes the blood to working muscles, because you need oxygen to the muscles to be able to fire and activate the muscles. So it jumps from 20% use at rest all the way up to something crazy. I'm pretty sure it's the oxygenated blood to the brain drops from 80% to 2 or 4. And this is why people tell you if you have anxiety or you're going through something hard in life, you should exercise, because it distributes, it stops your brain being able to function and think about your problems during that period of time. But I do find that even if I'm going through a hard day, I've had a bad day at work, anxiety, you've had a fight with your missus, whatever, and you go for a jog, it helps, but I can still think about it while I jog.
Yeah.
To some degree. Sometimes not clearly because you're worried about running. Jiu-jitsu is the one thing that no matter how bad your life is, there is no way you can exercise due to the 2% cognitive capacity during exercise. But then also, jiu-jitsu requires you to think so much. What's the next step? What's the counter? Where do I put my right hand? Where do I put my left hand? That there is no way you can think about your problems and jiu-jitsu. So I find no matter how bad my life is, no matter how bad my day was, the moment I start jiu-jitsu, it's all gone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have escapes, whether your escape is alcohol or your escape is drugs or your escape is, driving your car 160 kilometres down Paul Wakefield Road.
Yeah, 100%.
Whatever your escape is, they're all escapes that aren't positive. Jiu-jitsu is the one place that I guarantee you, no matter what you're dealing with in life, is gone for a couple hours, and that couple hours is so refreshing. And there's so many people that go, I walked into the room feeling like I couldn't do this anymore, and I sat on the couch when I got home and I went, you know what? Life's worth living.
It's not that bad, yeah. Very fair. And the other question about someone wanting to potentially start their own business?
The kids ask me this all the time at school. Schools try to push kids into university, and my opinion is I don't think you should go to university unless you're dead set know what you want to do, because otherwise you're going to get a 40 grand hex debt over something you never went down the path of doing. But same thing with jiu-jitsu or a business owning. Don't start a business because you want to skip the 9 to 5 and you want to work for yourself. I've had mates that go, I hate working 9 to 5, I want to work for myself, I want to do my own thing. And I've got this mate that started a cleaning business through Jim's Cleaning. And for about 9 months, he's like, yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, I can knock off when I want, when I can quote the jobs, I can have a day off if I want. But then in a year's time, he's like, dude, if I clean one more oven or one more bathroom, I'm done. And I'm like...
Obviously, it wasn't the passion that he was hoping it would be, and lost a bit of interest.
If you're going to do business, you have to have some sort of personal tie to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be a grind in a year.
I mean, that's really sound advice, absolutely. Unfortunate for your mate who's the cleaner, but it does happen.
He doesn't do it anymore. He threw it in.
Very fair. We are at time. Definitely want to plug the business. Where are we? Name of the business, name of the comp.
Yeah. Armour Brazilian Jiujitsu. We are in Manapara, just off of Curtis Road. Literally go on our website and book a free trial.
I mean, it's a free trial. You've got nothing to lose. You may as well come out and go, hey, I'll give it a go. Bit of fun. You're very approachable. It's a lovely place. It is clean. It is really, really cool in here.
And then once you've trained for a while, we've got competitions. There's only 3 competitions in South Australia. There's the Synergy Pro, Grappling Industries, and obviously the best one, Australian Grappling League.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to compete or come check it out, next Saturday, May 2nd at the Yulee Road Hall in Elizabeth Downs, you can pop in. It's I think it's about $15 to get through the door, and then come have a look at some local grappling.
Oh yeah, that's a bloody good tip. So, I mean, that's a really good avenue. If you're listening to this podcast and you're going, actually, I've wanted to do this for a little while, go to the competition, go watch.
And then some of the best guys in South Australia throwing down. Kids, if you want to get your kids into it, you want to see it. We've got kids fighting, adults, gi, no gi, and then. Lastly, one little spill I'll do is Grapple Apparel is our clothing brand. We do jiu-jitsu, rash guards, shorts, gis. But we also do casual wear, so jumpers, T-shirts. If you're a business out there and you want shirts for your staff, or you want shirts made with your logos on them, hit us up. We can get it done.
Very good. When you were finished coaching with a previous person in one of the classes, I was looking at the apparel that you've got in the front. It looks pretty cool. Got a whole different wide variety of it, and you're wearing some now. It looks really good. Yeah, good quality.
No, we can get it done. A lot of the time when you go to suppliers, they want you to bring them the design, but because I'm absolutely obsessed with making designs and graphic, come to me. I'll make you up something, make it look cool.
Wonderful. thank you so much for your time. I know you're extremely busy, and this has been fantastic to unpack and learn so much of. We didn't even touch about like the frequency of competitions, but I'm sure we could have gone into so much more about technique, all those kind of things. But maybe next time we'll see how we go. But thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.